that.
And hello.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on? Well, it's been a slow news week, I'll tell you that. Except for, and we'll just touch on the highlights right now, and then we'll get right into our topic. Now, there have been reports.
I don't know what news you've been watching, just to add. It's been a busy news week. But anyway, I digress.
There's been no confirmation from any credible source yet. But there is a report going around that Donald Trump is going to surrender himself on Tuesday. Although
it's more than that now, though.
No, none of the law enforcement agencies have released any information on it whatsoever. It's all been coming from Donald Trump himself. Especially on I think it was Twitter, or maybe it was that tweet thing that he uses, that Truth Social. But he put a big rant up in all capital letters
about Tuesday. Yeah, he's going to be indicted Tuesday.
But no, they're going to take him into custody. He's going to be processed on Tuesday. But it could take like
but
a
also
year.
They've been working with the. They had a meeting with the Secret Service and the local police today, I believe that happened. But,
that's true.
So yeah, that's odd. Why
So,
would you do that?
So that's been going on.
He's calling for violence too, apparently.
Well, he said protest, and then he said something about take America back.
Yeah. You remember what happened last time he said stuff like that?
I do, but this one actually does skirt on the top of the fence. Because he's not once mentioned violence. He's kept it very clear. Just protest to get our country back. He didn't say it's going to be. He didn't say it's going to be wild. It's going to be this. He just said protest.
That's because he's learned.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
Tuesday, I plan on staying home.
More news. DeSantis is losing to Trump in the polls.
Yeah, which kind of surprises me.
It's like, I believe it's 46 to 34? 32 to 46.
Yeah, that's more like what I've been hearing. They've been kind of swapping back and forth, but it depends what poll you use. And the polls that they're using, they're even admitting to them, about it themselves, that the polls that are available are not very good, not very accurate. It's like CPAC, for example. That's not a very accurate place to poll because of who was there.
Right. But there was actually 5 polls done, 3 of which are major polls. And in February, they had DeSantis at 36 and Trump at 42. Now it's 46 and 34 or 32.
The past couple elections, though, the polls have not been at all that accurate. Meaning the past few elections we've had, the polls have been way one way, way another in certain, even the demographics and stuff. So I don't know. It's hard to get it because people might be messing with these polls to try to get that. Don't ask me why, but it just feels odd. Like kind of obscure senators and whatnot are backing DeSantis right now, and none of the big mouths have actually come out and said anything.
You
Right.
know,
And he hasn't formally entered anything either.
no, he hasn't. No,
He's going to have to make his mind up here pretty soon. The 2024 election is going to happen.
What gets me is that Mike Pence is trailing Nikki Haley. How is that possible? She was at 1%. Now she's at 5%. And he's at 3%.
I'd vote for a tree stump over her. You know, she makes women look bad. She really does. If she's representing women, come on.
Yeah.
You've got
she's
way better
swelling.
than that. I mean, you know, brown crayons are better, I think. Sorry, but that's my opinion. Some of the things that she says, though, some of the things that she wants are just, they're insane. They're crazy. They're worse than Trump in some ways.
Yeah, but look at Pence. He spent 5 minutes on CNBC talking about getting rid of Social Security.
Yeah,
5 minutes.
I saw some of that.
You know, so it's like
Gotta
he's
go.
trying to get him. It's like he's trying to get himself disqualified from being, you know, trying to get himself voted out or whatever.
They're all being not too shy about, oh yeah, we have to have deep cuts. You know, we have to have big changes. It's all about the reason why we're 30 some odd trillion is because of this. Trump put us almost 9 trillion in debt just with his tax plan. Just with that. You know, that's more than any other.
More news. The Capitol Police are really pissed that they weren't notified or consulted or anything before the tapes were handed over to Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. That's nice.
Now, I know that they do their job, but don't you think that if it came down to it again, that they'd see like Kevin McCarthy in the hall and go, yeah, the crowd's that way.
Right.
You know, everybody but
Just
you
open
run.
up the gate because they don't want it to be damaged.
I mean, you're putting the people who protect your life, you're putting your life in their hands and you're shitting on them.
Yeah. Only for the sound bite. He's just doing it for sound bites. That's all. You know, he's not maybe to the police themselves, you know, to the channels that none of his side is going to see because they don't watch any of the mainstream stuff at all. If you notice on Fox, he'll say one thing, but on MSNBC, he'll say another. You know, because they're never going to see what he says, so he can say what he wants.
Oh yeah, he was horrible. I saw a interview with him and that wacky actor there. I forget his name. He's like an Australian actor. He's got long hair.
Well,
Russell Brand. Russell Brand.
Okay.
And Russell Brand was talking to him, and Russell Brand is like, I would put him like center left, maybe a little bit more, and maybe a little bit more to the left, and almost everything that Russell Brand said, Tucker Carlson agreed with. Said, yeah, it should be like that. And it was just amazing to see how when he's away from Fox, how different he is. All the things that he agreed to on that interview with Russell Brand were things that he was absolutely against on Fox.
If you think about it, though, these people that are on Fox that are spouting out all this crap, eventually you have to convince yourself that what you're saying is true. You're not going to be able to say it with a straight face if you don't. I mean, granted, they do chat with each other, I guess, but they're acting. They're all they're doing on Fox is acting.
The only one I find convincing is that Gutfield. He's on Fox. He's got his own late night show. Supposedly, it's the highest rated late night show on television.
Ever heard of it?
I think it's Grant Gutfield, something like that.
Yeah, I'm glad I have it then, I guess. It hasn't made my channels yet, so they haven't said
But
anything.
he's the only one that I believe believes what he's saying. On all of Fox. Even
Maybe
the
that's
pretty
why I
boys,
don't see too much of them. I don't know.
even the pretty boys, you can tell that they're just trying to get a rise out of you. They're trolls,
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I believe that Gutfeld actually believes what he's saying. Now, on to more news. Laura Boebert is now facing a what do you call that? A defamation lawsuit.
Defamation, huh?
Yes.
She's pissed off now.
Someone, actually from her home state. It's a long story, and we will get into it later on in the week. Once everything is, the dust settles on that, because it just came to light this weekend. So, more reports are going to come in probably around Wednesday or Thursday. She, told you this is my sleeping day. I don't want to be misquoted. I don't want to.
Okay, fine, fair enough. I saw a little about it today on the headline. I just didn't click on it and see what it was.
Yeah, I did, and
it's hard for me to listen to any more crap that she's got to say. So.
Yeah. I'm just glad that somebody's sticking it to her, for once, instead of
good.
Because what happened was, if memory serves me, she had a restraining order put on this guy, but she lied to the court, and the court threw it out. But now he's taking countermeasures, because she said she was going to sue him for defamation for something he said, but she never did. And he's suing her. I told you, it takes me a minute to get everything back. He's suing her now because when she said she was going to sue him for defamation, his income drastically dropped immediately after that.
Oh, wow.
So he's suing her for defamation.
Yeah, I'm curious to what was said and whatever.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Now, there is a sad note that I have to bring up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know. I hate doing that. Lance Reddick has passed away.
Oh, yeah.
At the age of 60. He looks like he's 40.
I know. He's in really good shape.
He was an actor that did all 4 of the John Wick movies. He was also a voice actor who voiced the character Commander Zavala in Destiny 1 and 2 by Bungie. And I saw him on interviews just last week where he looked amazing. So I'm kind of curious.
I know, and I've seen him in other stuff too. Yeah, he's a good actor.
I'm kind of curious as to what caused his demise, but in the meantime, I want to send out our condolences.
I figured it was medical or something.
In the meantime, I want to send out our condolences to his family and friends that he will be missed. Now, on to the main topic. Let me ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Let me ask you a question. And that question is...
I haven't had enough coffee yet today, I don't think.
See, here's the problem I have. Being woke is... I don't think anyone is woke. To define woke, in my opinion, would be... Well, I take back that first part. To define woke, in my opinion, would be to act for the betterment of society and not the individual.
It's simpler than that, though.
Well, is it though?
Yeah, because the only difference between some of us and some of them is we just know shit that they don't. We understand a lot more about the sciences and other aspects of things. And if you go to someone on that other side, they do not understand a lot of that stuff. You know, they don't understand, you know, some of the basic principles of science. That everybody should have some of the basics, you know, fire, earth, wind, you know, water, whatever, you know, right?
Right.
You know, there's some basic principles that people need to know, and they, you know, our education system has been failing us too, and that's been done on purpose, I think. But woke, I believe, is someone that understands what is going on and feels the need to do something about it.
Well, according to the people who wrote the book on woke,
there's a book?
Oh, yes, there's a book out now by, I hate to say this, the Republicans.
They still can't define it. They've been asked and asked and asked.
They defined it.
No one can define it.
They defined it in the book.
Define it?
They defined it in the book, but when asked in an interview, they stuttered, stammered, and just could not answer the question. Said it's too difficult of a question to answer in a 15-second soundbite.
And how can they? Yeah, yes, that's the same one. That's the same one. They even
told her, "Take your time and explain it to us." Yep, she's like, "No, this is not going to work."
Yeah, this is going to go viral. That's what she said. Don't make.
I can explain it in 15 seconds. In 15 seconds, woke means that you act within the best interest of the people. And when I say that, if it doesn't affect you, then let it go. Do it. You know, pass the bill. If you know your neighbor getting married to a woman has no direct effect on you, go for it. If the person down the street is oh crap, my head just stopped. You know, for instance, gay marriages and drag queens. Yeah. If somebody wants to go to work, put on a dress, stand on a stage, and shake what their mother gave them, how in the world does that affect you paying your bills or going to sleep or eating in your own home?
Or your kids.
You know, there's strip clubs.
Anything else, your pets, whatever else. It doesn't affect you in any way.
So what they're saying is strip clubs are okay, but drag shows where they don't take off anything are bad for children. That to me makes absolutely no sense. That's woke is what, strip club?
No. Well, whatever, but have you ever been to see a drag show? I've seen one. Not even the whole thing, but I've seen part of one.
I don't think I have.
I thought it was hilarious. I mean, it was a comedy show.
I've been to many strip clubs. I used to work in a strip club.
Been to a couple. I don't know.
But what I say,
it's weird.
What is drag
strip clubs? I don't know. I never really didn't really do anything for me.
I used to work.
I'd rather do it for free. You know, with someone else.
You know what it did for me? It put money in my pocket. That's what it did.
Oh, you were a bouncer. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah. So every night I had to go in. Believe me, after the first week, you get desensitized to it. It doesn't matter what's up on stage.
Right.
You know, the thrill is gone, so to speak. Just let me do my job, pay me my money. But with drag shows, it doesn't affect your day-to-day life. So why go against it? Why not just let it be?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what woke is. Woke is people saying it doesn't personally affect my life. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Let everyone be happy.
Allow it to keep them up at night. I don't understand. Why do they dwell on it so much? You know,
it's the whole thing with, I mean, don't they realize, let's take the world's, the country's favorite state, the armpit of America, Florida. Now, in Florida, they are banning books left and right. They're banning CRT, which they don't even know what it is.
Even from college.
Dude, I saw an interview
The
with
African
a woman
course
at
that they
CPAC.
stopped. I don't understand it.
I saw a woman at CPAC get interviewed, and the question was, they asked her something about CRT, and she said, yeah, it shouldn't be allowed in any of the schools. They should get rid of it. And she said, instead, they should just teach Black history.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's a wait, what?
So it's not like they're against it. They're just ignorant, and they want to put. And I hate to say this, woke to them is that you're not religious. Number one, and number two, you want to create levels of oppression, different levels of oppression to keep everyone under control. That's their definition of woke, which has nothing to do with letting people do what they want to do. I'm not talking about Sodom and Gomorrah where you got, naked guys running down the street with a bottle of Jack and, people blowing up other people's houses.
I wasn't there. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it wasn't your car I saw leaving. But, it's not going to be Armageddon if you just give people the right to make their own choices. Most people
that's what we're founded upon is the freedom of religion or not. I've got the freedom to not be religious if I want to. And what they're trying to do now is make Christianity the religion of the country. I don't think so. In fact, I personally
think
that anyone who runs on religion, because we have so many I think that should disqualify them. You cannot be religious in government. Religion cannot be your bias.
Are you saying that only atheists should run?
No, I'm saying if you run on a religious bias, then that should disqualify you. Your religion is dictating how you make laws and how you decide what someone else can do.
So what you're saying is you could be religious, you just can't run on a religious platform.
Yes, like Reverend Warnock. He's not using his religious views in his politics at all, at least from what I've seen. I mean, it may, in his mind, kind of change him onto a whatever direction, whether he's left or right or whatever, because it guides his morals. I'm okay with that. But when you say that my religion drives me to everything I do, and fuck you, because I think that whatever I do drives what you ought to do, because whether you're Christian or not, or whatever religion you are, just to be ambiguous, how they don't have the right to do that. They don't have the right to say that abortion is illegal because God deems it so. That's not enough answer. You need more than that. What if I don't believe in God? What if he's the, snowman or Santa Claus, as far as I'm concerned? So I just wiped out your argument. It's
the invisible man.
Nothing tangible there except for words in a book. It's based on faith.
Right.
That's why religion doesn't guide our politics.
So if they say, well, it's against God's will, can we say, well, Harry Potter said it's okay?
Sure. Right. If it's good for one, it's good for all. That's why we don't want any in our politics. Because there's so many different religions. Which one do you pick to guide? And not all of them can guide, because there's so many religions that have variable conflictions with each other. They don't work. So that's why religion and politics have to stay out of it.
All religions, as far as I've studied so far, all religions do have commonalities, but they are not exact matching.
No, of course not. If they're different.
And to say that my religion is better than your religion, so we're going to make it the world religion, screw you.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's not what Christianity's about. Why they're distorting it into what they are today, I don't understand. It's not right. My parents and stuff taught me to help everybody. If you have a little bit more than you give a little bit more.
I don't understand why they can't see that being a good person has nothing to do with being religious.
they should be synonymous, but it doesn't seem to be so.
I mean, I could be
why
a
can't
good
an
person.
atheist be a good person too?
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
That's what I
Yeah.
said. It's, it's why being a good person, you have to be religious in order to be a good person, and that's not.
But most of the good people I know are not religious. And most of the people I know that are Karens and other assholes that I don't associate with are religious, because
I know.
religion drives their life.
Right. And let's be honest, more people have died under the name of religion than under any other reason.
Except maybe COVID, but sure.
That was only because there was
Being
less people on
sarcastic.
That's only because there was less people on the planet. If there was more people to kill, they would have done it.
That's true. There have been plagues. I have no idea what died in those. But anyway, I digress.
But the thing is, what the right seems to be doing is anything that they don't agree with, whether it's policies, politics, religion, television shows, movies, actors, anything that they don't agree with, they label as woke to get everyone against it. It's their form of cancel culture.
Yeah, sure. I could see that. Yeah.
I mean, the M&Ms took away the high heel shoes on the green M&M, and all of a sudden M&M went woke. No, they didn't. They just changed their fucking mascot.
But just a real quick on the cancel culture, I think that they coined the phrase. I mean, we might have influenced a few things that were just really messed up to cancel, or people for that. But once that term really came to be, they were the ones that were canceling everything and bitching about everything else. They were causing their own things to cancel.
Right, but the way what I see is Florida, which is a red state, and what they're doing is complaining about cancel culture while canceling books. They're actually burning books in Florida.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about that, but they were actually burning books in Florida.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, wait a
Not the
second.
only state, but
Right. No, you're right. I just find that they're labeling things as woke because no one understands it, and that's what they're banking on. They're banking on they won't understand it, but they'll still associate it with something bad.
I could associate putting parental guidance restrictions on libraries, where this is a G section, here's a PG-13 section, here's a PG-17 section.
Wait.
But I can't
school
see
libraries or
banning books.
public libraries.
I don't know. Open for debate. But I'd rather see that than a flat-out ban, because some books have a place. Someone may need that information as they get older, and I don't want to see any of them kept out. But a 3-year-old doesn't be necessarily needing to read anything too far outside of that level. So I suppose to give a little bit, there's a little bit to that side as a compromise. I could see age restrictions on certain things, even if it's small. But some things, I may not want a very, very young child to necessarily accidentally pull off a shelf and start to read because it's maybe helter skelter. I don't think I want them to read that book.
So then what you're saying is basically that you want libraries to be the way that old video stores used to be, where they'd have the back room for the adult stuff,
Sure,
and everything else was up front for the general public.
I suppose as a way to compromise. But I mean, you're not going to find those books in a kindergarten library. You're not going to find any books that would be require that kind of. See, this is what I find very odd now that I'm thinking about this. The books that are in the libraries of the schools should only cater to the students that are around them, whatever those age groups might be. so they can do their class projects and
The
learn a little bit
age
more.
appropriate.
And maybe,
yeah.
yeah, but I mean, maybe a few things that are a little bit more, advanced for the kids that are learning faster than other kids and want more advanced stuff. I think that, but I mean, that should already be the way it is now. Now, when you go to a public library, I don't know. I think that if there's something that may be adult related content, like that you can't buy unless you're 18 or 21 or whatever of age, if you can't buy it, then I could see a library saying this is an adult section.
Right.
I can see that. But other than that, I think that should be the only separation. Is maybe that in a public library. That kind of makes a little bit more sense because some kids go to libraries without their parents. And their parents aren't there to have whatever they feel is guidance for their children.
Well, see, my issue is the availability of all this stuff to them anyway online.
I know.
They're allowed to use
Everywhere.
computers
Look at
in the
Amazon.
schools. They're allowed to use computers in the schools. How
Yeah.
hard do you
Well,
think
they
it
can
would
regulate
be?
the computers in the school, but they've got this. They've got this, and
Right.
at some point, their parents aren't going to be able to regulate that. Or
I
the kids are gonna
remember.
figure out how to unlock it.
I remember when we were in school, what was in our libraries were a bunch of books on, well, let's go with K through 4. There was Dick and Jane and all those,
Sure.
and the
Age
Hardy
appropriate
Boys,
stuff.
and there were reference books as well, like encyclopedias
Sure.
and stuff like that. It taught you how to research. Now they
Right.
just go and they sit down at a computer, type a few things in, and go, "Oh yeah, I got everything now. Print it up. We're done." And it's like, what did
Right,
you learn?
Right.
I remember the Encyclopedia Britannica. Which I used to have the full thing of the
That's what
world.
the internet's for now.
Yeah, but
Get video and everything.
and that's why we're a dumber nation than we were
I don't
back
know
then.
about dumber. I've learned quite a bit. I think I've learned more by watching something, say National Geographic.
You may
when
have,
I wanted to learn something about.
but if you
that
look at the
topic.
youth, of this country today compared to the youth of this country 40 years ago, we have a dumber lot of people coming out.
Well,
The education
I don't think
system
we
has
spent enough
failed
time
dramatically.
we need to bring our kids into the next century. I can see that books and stuff like that aren't really going to be that big of a deal. It's going to be whatever's on your device, whatever's on the computer. We're going to have very little in paper anymore. That's just the way it's going to be. That doesn't mean we'll just have to learn how to read on another device. But yeah, I think that we need to have more reading and less watching as far as when it
know
comes
how
to
many-
schoolwork, so our kids can still read.
Do you know how many people under the age of 18 don't know how to read a clock, an analog clock? It's horrible.
No, not really. That's not necessary. Where do you see an analog clock?
All over the place. There's clocks at work. There's clock at
I
the
know.
doctor's office.
I got this. I don't look at it for a clock anymore. I just go click and there's the time. I
So
don't
you're
see
saying
that
we
as
should just forget about those things. That people don't need to know
Sure.
those.
they really are irrelevant. We're not going to use them in the future. My car, it's a selection out of 5. I have an analog clock in my car, but it could be digital.
Right?
It's today's world. It's not a, because they can't use a telephone. They will never use a telephone. Going forward, they will never, ever have a need to use a telephone. So it's just something that technology that just dies. It's in a museum. Here, funny. This is what we used to have. That's where it belongs. We need to go to the future. We're not ever going to use that analog equipment again. It's too slow. It's inefficient. We have things that are better than that. Cars. Dude, we're one of the last generations to drive. Pretty soon, probably within our lifetime, it'll be rare to drive your own vehicle in certain parts of the country because you're just going to hit a button and it's going to do it for you.
Yeah, they've been saying
That's
that
more
for
efficient.
decades.
No, but we're there. I mean, like I see it in the aircraft industry. They've been working on developing this multi cross country north, south, east, west type corridor that aircraft can fly into, like an invisible highway that shows up on a HUD display, like you would see in a Star Trek movie or something like that. And that's how you would fly. You would have various levels, various altitudes for where you want to go, and roads on the ground. They'll be only for very few local things. You may not even have. Roads are going to change in the future. They'll be up. It's the only way to move all the people around. Like you see cities like LA, Chicago, New York, places like that. They can't travel. They want to be in the buildings. A buddy of mine, he left where I work and started for a company in Honda Jet, and they make small 4-person building to building type aircraft that are capable of vertical takeoff and stuff like that. And now they're making them electric, so it's a big industry already. They're already building these things.
Yeah, I don't see vehicles. So far, all the vehicles that have been self-driving have been disasters, and I think it's going to continue like that because we just don't have the mindset for it.
No, over here in the U.S. perhaps, but over in Europe, they're doing a lot with self-driving features. But they've been constantly adding data into the system. That really helps to constantly update it, to be viable. They're getting it. They're getting it. Battery technology is going in huge new directions, so it's making a big difference on that.
Well, yeah, but they're super freaking expensive. With inflation and everything else, and you got batteries for these electric cars and shit going for $16,000.
But the price is coming down. It used to be 3 times, 4 times that. When they first came out. They were the bulk of the cost of the car. Now that's not necessarily the case. It is getting better, and we're using less and less rare earth elements, which is better too. Have very many of those, and that's what helps keep the price up. So now we're finding battery technology that doesn't use such elements, that uses more common stuff.
And that brings me back to the core point.
Plus down.
Wokeism.
Yeah.
Means wait. Wokeism is counterproductive to what the Republicans plan on doing, which is keeping fossil fuels a viable solution to our energy issues.
Yeah. If the energy companies invested in this, they could dominate that industry.
Which is why I don't see electric cars and drivable cars and all that as coming anytime soon, because the Republicans won't let go of fossil fuels. And they have the right to or they have the ability to strike down any of those new ventures.
I think these next couple of election cycles, the 24 election, we're going to have a 26 election, those elections are going to be able to answer that question. Because I've been seeing a lot of movement and people fighting for not only climate change, but, more renewable energy stuff, because it's the way to go. It's the way to go anyway. Even if it's not causing issues, it's still the way to go.
Right, but it's one side versus the other. The one side wants it, but the other side wants to stay where we are.
That's not really true. In a polls that are done nationwide.
No. I'm talking about politicians, not people. I'm talking about politicians.
Bear with me a second. The people are the ones that vote. That's why. Hang on. Stop shaking your head. Listen to me a second. Don't shake your head. Bear with me. That's why I said 24 and 26 are going to matter. Because if you start getting rid of the red and start voting in some blue, and then start voting out blue, that's going to send a signal. That's going to send a message. And then it's going to start. Once we can control we can't control the red vote, but if we get rid of it, and then we can control the vote.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
Blue people out.
It's never going to happen. You have too many cultists, and too many cultists on that side. They're going to stick with, if they don't stick with Trump, they're going to stick with people that are like Trump.
All the fires, the droughts,
But you don't understand.
Food
You
prices
see
going
that,
through
but
the
they
ceiling.
don't.
Mhm.
That's the
But
thing.
more of them.
You
are
see
seeing-
that, but they don't. They see it as
Ohio's a
Biden.
Republican town. It's 100% Republican.
But that's
All the Republicans.
you're not paying
Republican
attention to the
controlled
big
state.
picture. You're looking at a
I am.
small picture.
I am.
You're looking at Ohio being a small town where the train derailed. It's
No, I'm
it
looking
being
at
a
it
red
as a
town.
state.
Okay, even if
Looking
it's
at
a
it as
red
the entire
state, even if it's a red state,
They got no
you
one to
see
blame.
everyone. You see everyone over there blaming Biden right now for not doing enough.
Right, but
All right.
when they're blaming, it's smoke. There's nothing there, and they quickly
You see it as nothing there. They
Yeah.
believe it. That's the thing.
They're
If they
speaking
believe
out
it,
and saying it themselves too. Maybe you're not
if
watching.
they
the same
believe
thing I
it,
am.
if they believe it, then it's not going to change anything.
They went to AOC.
Yes.
Why would they go to AOC? Republican constituents from Ohio. Why would they show up at her office in Congress? Why?
Because she's
That
on
says
certain
they hate her. She's the bad guy.
because she's on
the villain.
certain committees, and since they're blaming the Democrats and know that they're not going to make a difference with Biden, then
Right,
they go
but
to
they-
someone who may be able to make some
These
difference.
people were knocking on doors and they wound
Right.
up at AOC's door. They didn't plan on going to see her. They wound up there. And she was the only one willing to help her. Not even their own people that they went there to see would help her.
Do you hear what you're
Not
saying?
her. I'm talking about a whole group of people from this town.
Do you hear what
And
you're saying? What
She
you're saying
made a
is,
motion in Congress on their behalf. They get to see that.
do you understand what? Do you hear what you're saying? It's ridiculous. You're saying that they went to Congress. They had no intention of stopping at her door, but yet they went to everyone else's door, and she was the only one left. So they decided to knock.
No, I'm not saying she was the only one left. Out of the people that they went to, she was the one that was willing to help her or help them. I keep saying her. I don't mean to say her. It was them. It was a group of people. Probably one I sent you.
Coffee good.
recently.
Huh? I'm sorry.
But anyway, that kind of stuff is what loses support from their side, and their numbers are dropping. You know, even support for Trump as a beyond his scope of people is dropping. His mass is getting small. Less and less people show up to see him. You know, and it's
Yes, but
easy to see that.
Right, but you have to remember he got 7 million votes. You can't take that away from him. He got 7 million votes last time.
Right, but that
Right.
was
And
2-3 years ago now.
wait, let me finish.
Go for it.
He got 7 million votes last time. So even if he his crowd drops, you still have a significant number of potential votes. Even if he drops by a third, you still have a significant amount of votes.
I don't see it.
And oh, you think he's going to drop by more than half of 7 million?
Oh yeah, he's below that now.
No, he's
Oh
not.
yeah, Trump is. Trump's
Yeah.
dying.
Okay.
If he gets indicted on Tuesday and nothing happens at all, no protest, no nothing, he's done. He's washed up. That's it. So
Here's what you're going to see.
DeSantis
Here's
will be
what
the
you're going
one
to see.
that'll be moving
Here's
stuff.
what you're going to see on Tuesday. He's going to go in. He's going to get processed. He's going to be let go. That's it. There won't even be time to protest.
Oh, and all of his people know that and think that.
They'll see it when he goes walking out of the police station.
He said that he wanted people to protest
Yes.
in
he
his
did.
own like 6 mile tweet.
He is, but they
He said
won't
all
because
kinds
he
of stuff,
won't
and
be in there
wants his
long
people
enough.
to show up.
He won't even be in there long enough for a cup of coffee.
It doesn't matter. He asked for it. He wants people to protest. So I'm saying if no one protests and no one shows up to do anything or say anything or bitch at all, then he's a fizzle.
I disagree with you.
And he's
I believe they won't protest, not out of lack of.
I think 25,
you know,
50 people will show up. That's it.
I think they won't protest because of the shortness of it. They're under the impression that it's not a big deal. No sense in protesting if he's already out on the street.
These people, they just don't know that. And plus he asked for it. So if they are paying attention and watching, anyone who's anyone is going to want to go to support their guy. These people are too diehard. Look what happened. They had 10,000 people show up plus on January 6th. It'll be wild.
Right.
You know? So this is different. He might potentially be going to prison as far as they're concerned. They're arresting their president, who's legally the president in the eyes of most of them. I would be showing up wherever this was to protest, to set him free, whatever. Some of these crazies, they're just too crazy. They don't see it the way it's really going down. They might think of it as 5 minutes. They think that once he's in, they're going to take him and they're not going to let him out. Like, you know, I don't know. I think if no one shows up or very few people, he has a small crowd, he'll be done. He's done. And it doesn't matter because that's how the media is going to spin it on him.
Some media, but not their media.
I don't know. I think even Fox News is pulling back. They're not showing him nowhere near as much or at all when they can get away with it.
Right, but the problem is now that Fox is in all this shit, everyone's switching away from Fox.
I agree with that. But
Axios.
They have a small audience, though. They're harder to see.
Axios just lost a what do you call them? You know, a journalist, because she had referred to one of DeSantos's press releases as propaganda.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe that.
And so they fired her. Okay.
Yeah, they got no cojones. They had no balls. They didn't stand up to them.
Right.
They got a lot of hate for that too.
You know, there's a lot of places these right wingers can go other than Fox to get fed what they want to get fed. And if Fox doesn't fall in line, they're gonna see that their numbers are gonna start to drop dramatically, especially as it gets closer to the election.
I don't know. I'm willing to make a dollar bet on that. Bet you $1. I bet you $1 that we'll know by 26 what's going to be the outcome. Well, actually, we should know by 24. It should change because they're supposed to take the House or the Senate back in 24. They take the Senate back. Well, that's a big deal.
They taking the White
Then
House?
they'll have the House and the Senate. Huh?
Are they taking the White House?
That remains to be seen. I mean, if Trump's got support, that's what he's counting on. He wants to take back the House to get out of friggin' going to jail.
That doesn't work.
He's thinking so. They're saying it on his lawyers are saying that on television.
Yeah, what they're saying is they're referring to an old law that says if you are a presidential candidate, then you cannot be indicted for a crime. But he was under investigation. The investigation started before he became a candidate. Now,
probably started while he was still president.
The law says that you can't do it while they're a candidate because it would be like political attacks or whatever, you know.
Right, because they would have to deal with the criminal stuff or whatever, and not be able to run for the candidates. Yeah.
Plus the fact that it would affect their reputation as a candidate. So they were saying you can't do this, but everyone
so that's
knows,
why Tuesday is so important,
right? Because everyone knows that Trump only ran because and announced it so quick because he knew this day was coming, right? And he tried to get out in front of it by saying, I'm a candidate, you can't do that, but everything was already in the works.
So do you think here's a question to put out there, if Trump actually has a trial date, do you think he'll ever show up?
Oh yeah, he'll have to. But I would say that
you don't
travel.
Think he'll run?
No, I don't. And even if there's a suspicion that he'll run, all they have to do is confiscate his passports.
Well, why would the Social Service bring him in? He does have Secret Service. What did I say? Social Service.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you know. So
it's a fight between federal and state.
They bring him in?
It depends on the position between the federal and the state. And
It shouldn't
who's
matter.
and
He's got a arrest warrant, or he's got a court date. Should
right,
go.
but it's the same thing. It's the same thing for people in witness protection. If they have a court date and they're in witness protection, and witness protection says, "Yeah, no, we're not putting him in your court because it's gonna,
Fine.
put his life
They
in
could
jeopardy."
they could do it by Zoom. That's fair enough.
Well, I would say that
I would consider that as counting as a day in court.
I would say that his hearing or his trial isn't going to start for a year to a year and a half.
It can't. It'll start before the election.
No, yeah, a year to a year and a half. Well, no, yeah, it'll be in a year to a year and a half.
Yeah. It will be in 24. The election will be
Right.
over.
In November.
Yeah, that's months from now. I mean, yeah, no.
Of course, it's months from now.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see it. I see it being maybe a couple months at most, or weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for a speedy trial. Because
That depends. That depends. It depends on. It's a non-violent crime, so it could take forever. It's just this is all about the Stormy Daniels shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could take forever to come to court. They'd still have to file motions and do all that bullshit.
I don't know.
This is a non-violent crime, and he's not a threat.
I don't think because he's already slammed a lot of their, or all of their opposition so far. Like quickly too, not sat on anything, gone. The judges aren't messing around. So
right.
I don't know if you're going to have that as a result. I think the judges might be like, no. Time is precious here. Let's go. They might see the need for expediency. And Trump can fight it, and they're planning on it. But I think that they're already expecting that and ready to quash. And also because he's already had sanctions, he needs to be careful. Because his lawyer has been brought in for questioning too. And they're going, what could happen is Trump could wind up having to seek new counsel. Because this guy is going to have to not violate, but there's a term for it where they confidentiality is broken, so they can answer questions because it's
right.
criminality. So that's why he would have to probably find another attorney. So that's what MAGA stands for. Make attorneys, get attorneys.
Yeah, but the thing is, because it's such a high profile thing, they're going to want to put it off. They're going to want to put it off because you don't want 8,000 people hanging outside the courthouse.
No, but also it comes a point in time when the population begins to forget, and we're running close to that.
Which is what they want.
People want this fucking indictment. I don't know. I just don't think it. I think there's so much pressure to get this through that the DOJ is taking so many hits for it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. Let's say Tuesday. Well, Tuesday is the day that we have. Let's see what happens after Tuesday.
Tomorrow.
I'm really, really hoping. Really, really hoping.
Tomorrow is going to be a big day, my friend. We will see. We will see. I think that
fingers crossed.
What's going to happen is he's going to go in. You're either going to let him go or just give him some stupid bail.
Yeah, you're right on that.
And walk out the door. And he's going to bitch about it. He's going to say how horrible it was for being in there for 10 minutes. And then you're not going to hear another word about it from the government for at least 8 months.
I couldn't get my KFC.
They only gave me an 8-piece bucket, not a 12.
Right.
So, yeah. So, I may be the only one that thinks this way, but you know how I think. So,
hey, I'm being, I'm an insufferable optimist. So.
Yeah, not me. Not me. I think old people suck.
I've been trying to put my optimism away for a really long time. I think it's time to let it out.
I think all people suck. I'm not an optimist at all. So, but since you don't
a buck.
Good luck with that, Chuck. You're gonna lose.
Yeah.
But
I got some spare chains around here I can take out of the couch, Chris.
Dude, I got this sitting on my desk just waiting for you.
Okay.
But with that said, I'd like to find out what everyone else thinks about this. Is this going to be as big as Democrats are hoping, or is this going to be a fizzle little, this thing with Trump being caught or turning himself in? I have a feeling there's a lot more smoke than there is fire. I mean, they may have enough to do something to him, but the punishment I don't think is going to be that great. They may say you can't run for office, or they may say, $1 million. Fine. And then you're on your way. I mean, I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be.
No, I think they're just going to let him go on his own.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything debilitating or
they're going to be as respectful as they can. They're going to treat him with kid gloves. He's going to whine and bitch, and they're going to be respectful to him anyway. No, I mean, I'm sure they're going to have to process him. They're going to take his mugshot. They're going to have to fingerprint him. So I don't know. Some of that orange makeup on his hands might be worn off or something. I don't know. It could be dye. But anyway.
But it's
Tuesday, though. We should know by Tuesday afternoon what's going on.
It's a real police station that they're taking him to. They're surrendering him. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they'll be able to take his. I don't know if they'll be able to take his fingerprints because his hands are so tiny. I don't know if they'll fit on those electric things. But if they do,
they just use plates, not even ink. That's right.
Yeah. It's all electronic now. I mean, not that I would know.
Too. No, I had it for airport. You have to submit your prints every other year.
Right. Every other year? I know when I got my security license, I only had to submit them once. And then
we used to, they changed your policy.
Yeah. So, aside from that, I'd also like to find out, I'm kind of curious how many people actually think that they are woke.
I think I am. At least I like to think so.
I do too. I may be
I'm trying. I'm still learning.
I may be rough around the edges, but I would consider myself in the woke category.
I would fit in their definition. I probably would fit enough into their definition. I know enough to see through their veil. Yeah.
So stay with us this week. It's going to be an exciting week. We're going to have coverage of this thing on Tuesday. We're going to touch on Social Security and Medicare. We're going to touch on immunizations and autism.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Good. All stuff I'm into. Sure.
So stick with us. Hit the bell icon down below so you'll get notifications whenever a new video is posted. And with that, I say good morning, good evening, and good night from all of us here. And I am out.